Frugalsim videos are powered by Jetline Systems.
Hello YouTube, this is Frugal and welcome to my first impressions of the Just Flight PA-38 Tomahawk for X-Plane 11, one of the latest aircraft in Just Flight's high-fidelity GA series developed for X-Plane in collaboration with Thrander Design, and a port obviously of their previous release on FSX and Prepared. This is the first impressions. I've not flown this yet. This will be the first time. The cool thing with the Just Flight high-fidelity aircraft, the GA aircraft range, is that they all have this built-in checklist thing that you can use to quickly work your way through a new aircraft and get familiar with everything you'll need to do. I have obviously glanced through the manual. It's a pretty good manual, by the way. It covers pretty much everything, and I've been looking forward to this aircraft for quite a while since it was released. I'm a big fan of GA aircraft, in particular the Pipers with their low wing configuration. Now, the Tomahawk here, as you can see, is kind of unique in that it has this high T-tail. The aircraft in the real world, there's about 2,500 that were originally produced between 1978 and 1982, and it was actually developed by Piper using a lot of input from flight instructors. It was designed as a trainer, but it's also seen service, obviously, as a general purpose GA aircraft used by people for commuting, touring, and stuff like that. Anyway, let us go and jump into the cockpit. Now, obviously, I'm using track IR. Let me disable this for a moment. Okay. Now, I have my view set up using X camera to go through the views. And we are back in Renton. As I said previously on my previous X-Plane video, I'm a big fan of Renton, in particular with the Orbex scenery for Washington and with the Javieski design Seattle airports. Over here on the left, I've got my mouse working, yay! We have the usual Just Flight pop-out, and we can open doors here with these two buttons here. We can pop out the GPS if there's one installed. In this particular configuration, there isn't. Turn on and off effects, all sorts of other stuff here, but most importantly for us is that button, which is the checklist. So let's get rid of it. In fact, we'll do this. As you saw there outside, we do have chocks and everything fitted for the ground. So we'll pull those out of the way, and we will start running through the checklist. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can resize this checklist. So if you are working on a 4K screen or something like that, you can make this bigger and easier to read. So first up, parking brake needs to be set. Now, as I said, this is a first impressions. I have not used this aircraft, so bear with me as I stumble through trying to figure out where everything in the cockpit is. But the parking brake I know is down here. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, so that's off. And that's on. Whoops. Oh, you pull it. Okay. Whoops. Good. So parking brake is on. Good. Avionics off. I was looking for this earlier. I couldn't find an avionics master switch. We have the main battery and alternator down there. Don't know where the avionics switch is. What we'll do though is just run through and make sure all his switches are off, which it looks like they actually are. So we're good there. Master switch now can go on. That would be that one. That's now on. Fuel gauges, check the quantity. I'm not sure how much fuel I'm carrying. I should be carrying a full tank. Or two tanks, actually, two tanks in this. Carrying a total of 32 gallons of fuel. There they are. I'm currently just above 50%, which actually will probably be fine for this particular trip. The aircraft does have a range of about 400 miles, fully loaded. We're not going to be doing anything like that. Flight controls, check operation. Well, actually already did that, but we'll run outside and I'll show you. So, yeah, they're all working. I did check my rudder pedals previously. I don't want to do that again in case I knock the brake off. Flaps, check their operation. Where is the flap lever? That has to be the flaps, I guess. Fixed landing gear. Don't have to worry about that. Yep, that's the flaps. Good. So they're all working. Trim. Set the trim to neutral. Not entirely sure where the pitch trim is indicated in here. Let me try and move in trim on my joystick using the Thrustmaster Warthog again today. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Hello. Look at that. First impressions. So let's trim you for neutral, which is about there. Good. So trim is all set. Flaps and ailerons are checked. Wingtips and lights. This is the external tie downs and the external check. So flaps and ailerons checked. Wingtips and lights are undamaged. Tie downs have been removed. Fuel tanks check level 50%, which is good. Chocks removed. Tow bar removed. Oil check the level. Where is the oil? Well, Propeller, check its condition. It's completely fine. Landing lights, check. Fin, check. Rudder, stabilizer, tail cone, all good. And then we move straight away into the start procedure. So throttle gets cracked about 1/4 of an inch, which will be about there, I guess. Master switch remains on. And our mixture is currently lean, fully lean. So this is one of those aircraft where you crank the engine and then introduce fuel with a mixture. We could prime it as well. There's a primer down here on the right-hand side. Probably not going to need that today, but it's good to know that it's there in case we do need it. So master switch is on. Magnetos now go to both, which is good. The fuel pump now goes on. That's going to prime it. Mixture rich. So the mixture is going rich now, not after we crank the engine. Propeller, clear, and then engage the starter. Now it's not going to work. Why is it not going to work? Because the fuel switch is off. I didn't see anything in here about switching the fuel pumps. Could be something missing from the checklist, but currently fuel switch is off. So we'll turn this around to the left tank, which is about there. That helps. Fuel pump making a bit more noise now, and yeah. So now once again we'll try and crank it. Let's put the anti-collision light on as well. Oh, that's a beast, isn't it? Beautiful sound. Throttle, adjust the throttle, oil pressure, check that it's coming up, which it is, heading towards the green. The throttle now needs to go back to about 800 RPM, which seems a little low. But that's what's in the checklist, so we'll do what's in the checklist. Cool effect there, vibration on the key fob. Alright, we'll let the engine warm up before we taxi, and what we will do... Oh, now the avionics have come on, so I am missing something with the avionics. There is an avionics switch that I'm missing, and no doubt I will find it as I work with this aircraft a little bit more. Okay, so let's go ahead and tune 122. We're currently all over 122. Not entirely sure why I'm not picking up ATIS at this point. I am using Active Sky. Probably because this is COM 2, not COM 1.
Kilo Romeo November Tango Airport information Juliet 2353 Zulu weather wind calm visibility 10 sky clear temperature 4 dew point 1 altimeter 3049er advise on initial contact you have information Juliet.
Alright, so we've got the ATIS there. I can
Kilo
switch
Romeo
that.
November Tango Airport
You can see currently this is in metric basically. I can switch that back over to inches, I believe, with that button. There we go. So let's bring up that again and get the proper ATIS.
Kilo Romeo November Tango Airport information Kilo 2353 Zulu weather wind calm visibility 10 sky clear temperature 4 dew point 1 altimeter 3049er advise on initial contact you have information Kilo
3049er, so a little bit less than where we're currently at. It's going to be about there.
Kilo
Good. So that's all good. That's all set. So let's get rid of this and check our temperatures are all coming up into the green. Oil temperature is still a little bit low. Give it a bit more power here. And we will lean the engine, by the way. It does simulate fouled plugs and vapor lock, among other things. Cool feature set, as always, with the Just Flight GA aircraft there. So, avionics now goes on. Well, they're on. Taxi area should be clear. Parking brake gets released. Throttle applies slowly. Brakes check. Steering check. And then we get up to the run-up area and do the ground check or run-up check. We are going to take the more traditional runway today. There you go. Brakes are off. And away we go. Now, I was steering, as you can see, with the rudder pedal, and it's not doing a whole lot. Not entirely sure why, but we'll steer with the brakes for today. And the run-up area at Renton is actually just up here when you take this normal runway. To our right, there's a run-up area just after this turn-off, so we're going to use that, and we'll go ahead and do these ground checks here. So it's tricky steering with the brakes. And I did in my last video have a problem after landing. Do you remember? It wouldn't turn. I wonder if there's just a generic problem with my sim stopping me doing nose wheel steering. It is possible. Alright, so here's the run-up area. Let's go over here and we'll stop. We'll set the parking brake once again. Parking brake set. Throttle 1800 RPM. Let's go mixture rich at this point. So there's my 1800 mag check now, no more than 175 on each. That's about 100 drop. Back to both. Don't do that, Pete. And that one. Mag check is good. Vacuum should be 4.8 to 5.2, which it currently is. There's a suction dial there. Oil temperature, check it. Should be coming up to the green. It is. Oil pressure, check it. Should be in the green, which it is. The ammeter, we'll go ahead and check that. Well, there's the ammeter right down there. And if I put more load on this, there we go. We can see that responds accordingly. Fuel pump now goes off. Fuel pressure is still green, so we're good without that, and we will now retard the throttle back to normal. So before takeoff, master switch should be on, magneto should be on both, which they currently are. Flight instruments check, we'll do that on the runway, make sure that we have our heading all aligned. Fuel selector is currently on the left pump, we'll switch it to the right pump. Fuel pump on for takeoff. Engine checks have already been done. Carb heat should be off. There's the carb heat right there. Mixture should be set. Flap set. We're not going to take off with any flaps. Make sure my flaps are up. Controls are free and correct, and the doors are latched. Okay, let's go. Not using any AI traffic or other players in this today. Just a general sightseeing first impressions flight in the new Tomahawk. Now this is an aircraft that was sent to me for free. I'm obliged to point that out. It is actually, let me put that another way, it is an aircraft that I requested. I've been quite excited to see this. And again, that being because I'm a huge Piper fan. Alright, landing lights are now on. Peter, he can go on. Fuel pump can go on. I think there's something wrong with it, with that nasty clicking sound. And here's our heading, 150. So we're all ish, 15-ish. So we're all lined up. Everything is good there. Flaps are no, we don't need to worry about that. So let's go. We are going to rotate a 53 and climb out. We'll trim it for 67 knots climb. Do have, I think, working headphone sockets down here. There we go. Would be nice to see a cable indicating that it's plugged in. And we're already going way too fast. So let's trim this for a 67 knot climb. A little bit of wind here today, although the ATIS did say calm. You can definitely feel it. And about 400 feet we'll start our turnaround. Aircraft does not want to trim, just wants to climb. There we go. There's my 67. We're about 400 feet now, so let's turn around to the left. Coordinating the turn, of course, with the rudder pedals. Basically stepping on that slip ball. Nice steepish turn. We're losing our trimmed speed there, climbing quite dramatically. We'll reduce power a little bit now. There we go. Back to about 22. No prop control in this, just throttle and mixture. Quite a simple aircraft to fly. Again, designed with a lot of input from trainers. So, necessarily easy to fly. It feels good though, so far. I mean, the aircraft wants to climb. It feels very stable. It's not doing anything untoward or unexpected. Very nice. It is a late Friday afternoon here in Seattle. It's Black Friday, in fact. The weather was looking good, so I thought this would be the day that I would choose. And again, using Active Sky. Not the other thing. which I've forgotten, X Enviro, because I just don't like what it does. So climb above 1,000 feet, which we currently are. Fuel pump now can go off. Landing lights now can go off. Mixture full rich, throttle full power. Optimum climb speed is 70 knots, which is where we're currently at. I'm going to climb on up to about 3,000 feet. And then in the cruise, adjust everything there. So we can get rid of this right now. And as we pass this ridge of hills on the right hand side, we will turn to the right and go play. Feels very fluid as well. This is X-Plane 11.4, the new release candidate for the update, which again has changes to the experimental flight model. I'm really liking it. The new flight model feels very smooth, very fluid. I'm really enjoying it. This update as well brings in prop wash and effects like that we've not had before, which is going to be key for those of you who fly online with other pilots, or even with traffic. I know Just Flight just released their traffic add-on, which they have sent to me, and I will do a video of when I can. Still climbing. It's going to level off at 3,000 feet. We'll see what it's like to level this aircraft off for straight and level. I didn't switch my fuel pumps there, so let's check on that. Yeah, we are a little bit low. So, there we go, switched over to the right tank. Try to keep the aircraft in balance. And there's our 3,000 feet. So let's ease up. We'll bring it back to about 2,200 RPM. And trim this for straight and level. We'll see how hard or easy it is to trim. It's still wanting to climb. I do have a lot of trim in there currently. This would be a fun aircraft in VR as well, because it is so simple. You can really focus on the experience of flying. Man, it's tricky to trim. The more speed this gets, I mean, all aircraft, the faster they go, the more they want to climb, because you're generating more lift over the wings. But this one in particular seems to be very aerodynamic. Doesn't take much of a change in my speed to generate a change in the condition of the aircraft and really wanting to climb a lot. So still trimming it. Have a bit of forward pressure on the stick here. Bring it on down to 3,000. And then we'll trim out that pressure. And again, as that speed climbs, because I'm pushing forward on the stick, it wants to climb as an aircraft as well. Huge amount of lift being generated by these wings. Oh, I adjusted my throttle badly, I think. 2,200 RPM, please. There we go. There. By George, I think we've got it. We'll turn to the right here, head on over to the mountains. Beautiful day to be flying. Seattle not being plagued with its usual torrential downpours of rain today. Just a nice cold and brisk winter's day. Late November. And there we are. We could put a bit more power in there. We are going quite slow. As you can see, we're about 40 miles slower than we need to be. 40 miles an hour. Let's bring this back up to about 2,400 RPM. It should be about there, 2,300. Let's see what we get in the cruise. Sound is good. I do like the weathered textures all over this dashboard as well. It is an old aircraft in the real world, and it looks old in the sim as well, which is very good. They've done a wonderful job of texturing this. I have not seen the prepared and FSX version of this, so I don't know how faithful it is to that version. My presumption would be, being an X-Plane, the flight model is obviously a little bit better this time around, because the X-Plane's flight model is in general better. 2,400 RPM now, just increasing there. And still playing with the trim. It requires some force on the trim. I'm used to actually just tapping my trim button. Just click, 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 and it will trim the aircraft. That's not the case with this. Hello? Seem to have a joystick button bound to switching the fuel tanks. Didn't know about that. We'll look into that later. Oh, you know what that might be? There is an option for auto switch. There, it's already turned on. So we'll leave that as it is. I don't need to worry about the fuel switch, because there is an option in this aircraft to automatically manage that fuel switch for me. So I don't need to worry about that. Easing up on the power a little bit there. And now we're at almost 3,000. Let's trim this. Not trim it. Let's lean it. Just based on sound. It should be about there. Still applying back pressure to the stick now. It does want to drop. I'm about 100 feet less than where I want to be. So a bit of a beast when it comes to trimming. And I think this does have a very, down there, very simple autopilot installed. I'm not going to be using that today. Similarly, I don't have the GPS installed either. Just a very, very basic Piper Tomahawk today. Good, I think we've got it. So let's trim this a little bit nose down, let it not porpoise, but undulate around that 3,000 mark. And we're good to go, so this is all set. A little bit more power. Let's pop outside and see what it looks like and sounds like. Sounds great. Different sound effects based on your position around the aircraft. There we are. Beautiful. What a fun plane.